scientific from their own cash-strapped nonprofit to see that the project got built. Neighbors complained constantly, even interfered during construction. Local elected officials opposed the project and sought to delay it, postpone it, and make it go away. And I saw Stephen Dawes over there, and he will probably remember this. Some days we would get 15 emails from Paul Powell. Each one sought information on how to advance the project. Not once was there any discouragement. And when Michael Azar came on as executive director, he embraced the project and saw it through. Tonight we honor two brave community leaders. While the courage and persistence of Paul Powell, without the courage and persistence of Paul Powell and Michael Azar, 18 people with mental disabilities and their families would be either out in the streets or living in substandard housing tonight. Join me in recognizing Paul and Michael.
Congratulations.
I'll go first. Thank you, Paul. The Folsom Oaks Apartments was really a case study in trying to cite permanent supportive housing for persons with psychiatric disabilities in a community that was wrought with much fear, understanding, and the stigma of mental illness. The mission of TLCS is to promote successful community living for persons with psychiatric disabilities. And we knew as part of that mission it would be difficult, and we would try to develop the kind of housing that anyone deserves in our community. And it was really wrought with much difficulty and conflict. We literally had to, at one point, prove to the city council that there were no other parcels in the entire city of Folsom that were available to site this facility because they wanted it on the grounds of Mercy's Hospital, which really goes against the deinstitutionalization movement and the community mental health movement that really started with legislation dating all the way back into the 60s. So it was a very tough battle. It took a lot of partners. Mercy Housing really helped us to learn to be developers because we were social service providers. And the help of Chris and Paul and Steve was invaluable. And the folks were out yesterday, and we had 12 staff from the Department of Housing and Community Development out because they finally are allowed to travel. They got a 1-month lift on their prohibition against traveling. So they got to come out to see one of the projects they had funded, and they just loved it. And our residents were so proud to show them apartments. Everyone wanted to show them apartments because there were people there that had come off the streets and had never had a roof over their head to call their own. So it was really a big effort, a collaborative effort that took a lot of partners, and it was great to see that come to fruition. And Mike's our executive director and got to deal with a lot of the politics involved in it.
I want to commend Paul. I only had to live with this project for 3 years. Paul lived with it for over 7 years, and I think he deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
The reason we do it is because there are people who need it. We hear of the women who are single mothers who can't get their children back until they have a place to live. We have one resident who has been in several of our housing projects who in tears said, "I never thought I could live in Folsom." And we're proving to the community that you can have a really good place that is a shining star of the community that people can look up to. And that's what it's all about. That's why we do what we do, is for the people who can live in that housing and have the dignity that they didn't have before. And thanks to all of you for recognizing that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, so we try to keep our program short. So people